Our involvement with AVAIL and NutriSphere began 3 years ago. We ran 3 seasons of it. It began simply because we started seeing a rising cost of fertilizer, and David came to us and told us he had some products we needed to take a look at, and so we took a look at them, and we really took them to we put them in dry fertilizer the first year. We started with that in the fall, seen it in the wheat crop, and we've just kind of ventured from there and being able to stack the products. We used them separately, we've used them together. We have seen the synergy between the two of them, so now we pretty much run them in tandem. If a guy's going to look at one, he's going to look at the other one. We look at not only the cost of fertilizer, but we go directly off of soil samples. We take your soil samples and we find places where we might be able to reduce phosphorus simply because, phosphorus application simply because we're using AVAIL, and we know we can get whatever we put out there, we can get that 75–80% of it. There's no use in putting, an abundance of fertilizer out there with the cost if we can't get what we need out of it. There's no sense in just broadcasting it out there. So that's essentially what we've done with AVAIL. The NutriSphere product, 90% of our over-the-top weed and feed goes on with NutriSphere. We always in the past had farmers reluctant to do it that way, and then we'd run different forms of nitrogen. We would come back with chemical. This way we can run them both, we can save money that way, and we've even seen instances where we've reduced the amount of nitrogen that we put out simply because we know that we're going to keep what we put out there in place for the full season. So we've actually dropped some guys units back to, we know that we can drop units and still get the same results. So we've seen it, we've proved it, and matter of fact, we're doing a lot of it. And like I said, 90% of our weed and feed is put on with NutriSphere. With the stacking, we are seeing the root development is phenomenal. When we really started the stacking, it wasn't so much that we were digging roots as we were finding stalks that were massive, and we wanted to find out what was contributing to the massive stalk and the maybe even 2 or 3 years that we're producing that are actually filling out versus just being there. And that is really, the stacking has become the norm for us. If you're running NutriSphere over the top, we've got AVAIL and NutriSphere in the planters. So the effects are highly visible as soon as you do it. We get calls from farmers where we've purposely, they maybe didn't dive into the program, but allowed us to pick fields. We picked fields where maybe were some of their worst, where they had yield drags, or just wasn't, with the field maybe even next to it. And we took the worst field, and we've been able to produce side-by-side comparisons that they're calling us on. We don't have to go remind them. They call us to come look at them. So it's all, when they're calling you to see what you did and see how we can duplicate it for next year, we're doing a good job.